Hey everyone, it's Brandon. I'm back with another Big Brother Spoilers intro. Today's guest is no other than Angela Rockstar Lantry from Big Brother 20, one of my personal favorites. It's been 7 years since her season, and she's here to talk about her life after the show, how she balances being a mom with being a BB alum, and why BB20 is still remembered as one of the most entertaining seasons of the modern era. We dive into all the highlights, her infamous veto moment with Tyler, spending over a month in the jury house, and what it's like having her daughter's birthday in the BB house become one of the most iconic memes on the show. Rockstar also opens up about her casting story, her Big Brother fandom over the years, who she stayed close with, and her reflections on how her season compares to the game now. And of course, we spend plenty of time on Big Brother 27, from the new twist, the accomplice, and blockbuster surprises, Rachel's return, and all the house guest drama to your favorite players, who she's rooting for, and who she thinks has what it takes to win. This one is candid, fury, and full of rockstar energy. Let's get into it.
Okay. Hi, Rockstar. I'm so excited to be talking to you. It's been 7 years since BB20. How has life been for you since leaving the Big Brother house?
It's been awesome. It's great to be here. And, life is life. And every day you wake up is a blessing.
So the last 7 years have flown by, but what was the most challenging part at transitioning back to normal life after the show?
When you first come off of the show, it's like you feel a little squirrely. Like even when you're at restaurants and people are just having their own conversations, there's hints of like, are they talking about me? Like, they're going to kick me out of the restaurant. Like, it's so silly, but there's like these little moments. So I guess readjusting to that and just being like back and doing normal things, like driving a car. You're like, can I do this? And of course you can, but there's moments where you're like, wow, I haven't done this in so long. And I remember that, like your food would just appear in a storage room and you're like, the grocery store, this is normal, but not normal for the past, 3 months. That feels even longer when you're in there. So.
And how long did it take to adjust back to normal?
I mean, not that long, probably like it was probably that whole, I don't know, maybe 4 months after things were still a little like, oh, this is weird, or yeah, I would say.
So we just saw each other. We met for, I believe, the third time at Oz's premiere party a couple months ago. So how was the party for you?
Oh, I love her parties, and I love going to the premieres, and I love meeting the fans, and I like seeing the new cast and having everybody be excited together. It's such a fun, it was great. Did you have fun?
It's always great. I enjoy going every year. So you went 25, 26, and 27. I wasn't sure if we met 2 or 3 times.
Yes, I think I'm pretty sure maybe there's like 1 year that I missed, but I think I've gone to pretty much every New York premiere since mine.
I probably have the picture somewhere on my phone.
Yeah.
So who are some people that you were excited to meet or just to reconnect with? Some Big Brother players.
Oh, well, I love Jessica Milagros from the season after me. And then of course I love Azza. She's great. And I like Tiffany. She's fun. I love some of the other, like, who did I even okay, so this last one, I met Tucker and his brother, and then Rubina and Takor and Leah. She was so cool. And oh my God. I am Lisa, who I actually like talked to on the phone. And now the name.
She was the first person I thought you were going to mention.
Yes, I love her. I was getting there, and we shared a glitter drink and had fun. She's very cool. And yeah, I really, ever since being on the show, I feel, connected to these people that have gone through this experience that I also went through. And so it's like, whether or not you root for them on the show or you're a fan of them or whatever, whether or not you even got into it online and you don't really like them, you still understand and experience that you all went through together. So that's like always interesting. But the people that go to the premieres are always cool. They're always cool.
Was Jess there? I don't remember seeing her.
Not at this last one, but I just absolutely love her. So I always mention her. And I did meet her at the one after she got off the premiere of I guess that would have been 22. That's
probably not that one.
At one of those premiere parties. But yes. Oh, you're right. Maybe that was the one I missed. Yeah. I digress. I like meeting the alumni. I like meeting all of them. I think it's fun. And I love seeing Monica from season 2. Like, what a legend. It's a lot of fun to go to those events.
Yeah, so let's get into season 27. So who are your favorite house guests this season?
All right, my favorite house guests are definitely Ava, Rachel Riley, of course, and Will. I like Will a lot. I've been rooting for Will from the start. He's still in there. I'm so happy that he even told people like, I'm not going to be this, the old guy that y'all keep throwing up on the block. And I love that. And he's not been that. And I think he's actually, he could go very far. I've actually done so good on my preseason picks this season. Like I'm always I always not necessarily instantly regret, but I never do well. They never make it this far.
Do you make a winner pick or a whole boot list, or what were your predictions?
I do like a 4. I allow myself a top 4. And then I say, if any of them makes the top 4, then I feel like I won a little something in my own personal draft.
Well, if you want to hear my history with picking winners, so yes. Season 23, I picked Xavier. Season 24, I picked Taylor.
Okay.
Season 25, I picked Jag. And then season 26, I picked Matt, who ended up being the first boot. So I got 3 right in a row, and then I got the first boot. So
I did not think that Jimmy or Zach would have been gone so early. Like, I'm very intrigued by the way this game has. I saw them going far, like. It's very interesting this season, I think.
And my winner pick for this season was Ashley, so she's still in, so she's a chance.
Yes, and she actually, I saw something, and when you scroll or whatever, you miss it yourself. But I don't know if somebody tweeted it or it was a video or something like that. But she was basically saying that she studied Elle Woods to play dumb, and that she was gonna unleash the genius soon enough.
That was probably on my page. You saw that.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. I do follow you.
So going back to your favorite houses, so you mentioned Ava. Ava, you already had to be a fan of before she even walked in the house, but she mentioned you as one of her favorites, right?
Exactly. We knew she had taste, so I had to roll with that. But I like her vibe a lot. I feel like she's somebody I really do look forward to meeting and hope that I do. And I imagine that I will, because she's right in New York. So.
And you also mentioned Rachel. What about Amy? Do you root for the fellow mothers when they're on the season?
Yes, I do. And I don't know that Amy necessarily knew what she was getting herself into, but I think she I do root for the moms. I don't know that I would say she was the best Big Brother gamer in the world, but hey, neither am I. So
So who is your vote for America's favorite?
Oh my goodness. I hope see, my feeling about America's favorite is that I always want to know who won. I want there to be 3 people to get something up in that house. You know what I mean? So it's like and surprisingly enough, I really hope, and this may shock you, but I actually hope Lauren, goes I think she's so young and impressive and smart and has won things, but also kind of blends in enough, but also tells us what she's like. She's smart. So I enjoy watching her. She surprised me, basically. She could have just been not what, like, she's a gamer, I think, and I enjoy watching her play, you know. So
And she's the only one, I believe, in the house that watched Rachel's previous seasons, and she was only like 7 years old when they aired. So
right, ingrained, you know, in your memory. That's got to be so crazy, though, to be playing with Rachel Riley, especially. All right, if you're like a recruit and you don't really know who she is, maybe you came across some clips, you're like, but if you are a Big Brother fan, to be in the house with Rachel Riley, you're like, you know, it's crazy.
Well, someone who doesn't like Rachel is Kelly, and I know this on Twitter that you're not the biggest Kelly fan either. So tell me about Kelly.
So I initially was like, you know, first impression, like, and then I wanted to give her a shot because I was like, you know, don't be that way. Let's see. And then she's like winning stuff, and then she's talking about traveling the world, and then she's a pilot, and I'm like, okay, all right, you know, this is cool. She's a farmer. Maybe she could survive the apocalypse. I don't know what's going on with her. She seems like a very multifaceted person, but then also she'd just be saying some nasty nonsense out of her mouth. So I'm like back to, but first of all, I don't like none of that of what she said. I will also say that when you are in the Big Brother house, you always, I've said this before, you have to caution yourself not to make anyone enemy number one, because you will start to just and you'll get nasty, and then you'll say nasty stuff, and there's nothing else to talk about, and you can just like so I hope she apologizes for saying what I got upset about, you know, bringing up kids and stuff. I don't think that's cool at all. But and that's how I feel about that. That was a long, extended, you know, I try to take the way anyone's acting up in there in the amount of time that they're doing it, when they're doing it in the house, unless it's like super, you know, beyond the beyond. But if you're just being a catty bitch, you know, are you a catty bitch under duress? Okay. Are you actually like this when you get out of the house? You know what I mean? That's how I feel, at least.
And do you think her time is up tomorrow? How do you think the eviction tomorrow is going to go?
I think it's looking like it, which is, I mean, but you know what? She could win the blockbuster. Like, the girl, they would do well to get her out because she is such a threat, regardless of whether or not personal opinions aside of how they're feeling her in the house, that girl wins stuff. Keanu wins stuff. And they win when their backs are against the wall. So it's almost like, you know, and then you can't even really backdoor anybody.
Yeah.
Now.
That was part of Vince's hesitation in putting Rachel up, because she still had a chance to save herself.
Right. So it's definitely a different game as well. And it's interesting because although you can't do one of the shadiest moves ever, everybody, I feel, plays a lot more shady and snake-like than they did in the past. You know, so very like, oh, I'm going to say this thing. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to say this in your ear. I'm going to say that in your ear. Whereas, like, I think it used to be a little more like, I just don't fuck with you. Like, period.
Yeah, Rachel said it herself that the sides were much more defined when she played 15 years ago. Now it's very loosey-goosey, you know?
Right. And everybody's so like, I mean, Vince definitely has a final two with everyone in the house, but I don't even think he's the only one. I feel like these people are just like, if you're like, I feel like I could call in and say, hey, final two. And they, yeah, final two on the outside as well. You know, you get a final two, you get a final two. It's very, but I can't say that it's not it's a choice. I don't know that I'd call it a great strategy to just agree to everything all the time. It's definitely going to get you caught up.
So I was saying, but that's what Tyler did the same thing in season 20 and he didn't win, right? Making all those final twos.
Right. Because people feel betrayed. It's almost like I think, might even feel less betrayed if you bet, oh, you got me in the back. So I don't know. Maybe they do feel very heartbroken. I can't believe you did that to me. But I feel like I don't know. The back door is a shady move. It's not, but they can't even do it anymore. So now they're just shady in all of their dealings. I don't know.
Well, we saw a few episodes ago how Vince and Kelly, they made a final two on day 2 or something like that. A couple episodes ago, Kelly said, oh, I should be safe. I have a final two with him. And Vince's like, what? I have a final two with you? Like,
he didn't remember. That was so awful, actually, that he
should just assume he has one with everyone.
Right. At this point, like, yeah. And then how do you move at all? He's been really lucky. Really, really lucky that he hasn't had to necessarily reveal any cards. It's been some, I see every so often that people are like, they're not a fan. I'm captivated by this season. I think it's interesting. I don't know where these people are going, who they're truly aligned with, where they're going next week. They're turning on each other left and right. They don't even know what they're doing. It's horrible gameplay and it's highly entertaining on all levels.
Yeah, and part of what makes it so interesting is the blockbuster. So what are your thoughts on that twist in general?
I like it for the house guests. I kind of don't necessarily like it for the extended period as a fan watching it on TV. As a player, I'm sure I'm all for that bitch. Run it all season. Run it up to final 3 blockbuster. Like, oh, you just, yeah, whoa, I think we go right back in there, like whatever. But as a viewer, I'm like, all right, let's end it now. I don't know. What are you thinking? Do you like it?
I think it makes the Thursday night eviction episode interesting. I think for the fans, you never know who's going to go home because it depends on who's on the block. So I think it's going to be here for the long run, this twist.
I do like that. It does keep it very interesting, but it has changed the strategy completely but I think that's what's really neat about Big Brother is it's changed from, if you watch like the first Big Brother to the Big Brother that's currently on 27, there's several different kind of versions of it within the same family. So that's neat. Ever evolving and changing,
Have you ever gotten to meet Rachel or no?
No, but I've spoken to her on the phone. I've done podcasts with her, and actually, let me rewind that. I did sort of meet her at a distance on Big Brother 20 when she walked in and, she was a host on one of our comps. So I got to meet her in that way, but that wasn't like hanging out, kikiing or anything like that. That was very much, and I was so excited to see her there because I had watched her season before going in. My season was so cool when we went in because they had the audience filled with only alumni. And before I went in, I had binge watched some ridiculous amount of like 7 different seasons. I ate, slept, and breathed. It was on while I was brushing my teeth. Like I was just watching. And then to go on the stage and see all these people that you had watched on TV and you haven't even, been on, you're new to this and you're like, and part of you is even thinking, are they going to pull these people on? Is that a comp? Like it's crazy.
Well, that's how I feel going to these watch parties. It's so great for me as a fan to meet all these people. That's why I love to go to these. So
yeah, I love them too. It's so fun and it's wonderful to meet the fans of this show and get to spend time with them and meet the other alumni. I love the watch parties. They're great.
So how would you have handled Rachel if she walked into the Big Brother 20 house as the only returning player like this season? How would you have handled Rachel?
I'm sure I would have kissed her ass. I'm sure I would have been whatever, people hate when they suck up to someone else. I can't imagine not being like, holy shit. I just find her very fabulous. I love her red hair. I like her personality. I like her style. I don't know if they told her what the theme of the house was or what made her wear these 1940s-esque, like she looks great in just walking around. I mean, I like her so much. I think she's cool. And she's a mom. But there's a level of this person already won. If you're new and your goal is to win, I think you at least try to work with that person who has more experience, and then eventually you try to figure out if you can, I guess, cut them or whatever, or if you take them to final two and you just really try to say, hey, I did this and X and that Y and Z, and I brought her with me, and she's a winner, so like, look how bold I am, or I don't know. I can't imagine that I would have gone after her though, because I knew who she was. Maybe some of the other alumni.
So speaking of the alumni coming back, what did you think of Casey playing in the veto competition earlier this season?
I thought that was so cool. I love Casey Clark. I voted for her to win. I vote for her to win at life. I know that I like her. I've always liked Casey. I think she's got good energy. I always, whenever we like see each other at different alumni events, it's all like it's always love. So,
and you were on the block next year when you were evicted, right?
Yes, I was.
So, what are your thoughts on Riley and Catherine? That situation.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It's very interesting. I guess we'll have to see. So like the outside opinions are what they are, and people can watch things and either read into it or very much see something that they're like, but then it kind of flabbergasts me that everybody, I mean, these people were like sobbing. So what is that? There's got to be there's a missing piece that must not translate through the screen for me. And that missing piece is whatever had the house guests like bawling. It made me rethink some of the things that I was reading in a way, that I'm like, well, what we watch on TV about people living, and I'm not saying that anyone is wrong or anyone is right, but what I am saying is that we can project our own lives onto this very easily, and how that affects us at home. So based upon your own situation or hearing something from a friend or someone you love, and then you see something and you're like, that's that thing, and it very well could be, or maybe it's not. I'm cautionary in that I would have had a completely different response to this had I not seen them people bawling like that. Does that make sense?
Well, what I'll say is everything that he's been saying and doing is with Catherine alone. So the house guests aren't seeing what their alone time is like. He's very nice to everybody else, so they're not seeing what he's doing to her alone. All the house guests have been evicted so far. They come out and they see the reception he's getting and what he did to Catherine, what he's saying to Catherine. They've all completely distanced themselves from him because they want nothing to do with him. So I think once people come out, they'll see what has been going on.
I see. So that was just like alone time, kind of like toxic behavior on the alone time, not in front of other people. And that's why the fans have been. So I'm in and out of, the live feeds and I miss a lot. So forgive me. Don't quote me on like but that's why please share with me whatever information you have. And I do watch your page and I do try to pay attention. I'm a severe ADHDer with a lot going on, but I hear you on that makes a lot of sense. So thank you for sharing that with me.
So what do you think of Riley not doing exit interviews? Do you think that was him canceling it or CBS, or what's your thoughts on that whole situation?
I think that's very interesting. It's apparently I asked, and that was not the only person that's ever happened with. Paloma and there's like somebody else that had it moved back a week.
Paloma's different.
I have no idea whether it was CBS or him. I was shocked. I didn't even know that you could do that. I thought they just interviewed you as you were leaving, that you just did the interview because you just did the Julie Chen interview and then you're doing the interviews. As far as I knew, but I went to a jury house, so I don't know how they do that. Are they still sequestered, or are they doing these interviews once the house guests are home, or how does that even work when you're not?
So they do the first round of interviews on Friday. They're still sequestered. They don't have their phones at all.
Okay.
And then once they're done with those interviews on Friday, they fly home, they get their phone, and then they have a second round of interviews on Monday.
Okay.
So Riley went straight home. He didn't do any interviews. They're not going to let him do any interviews. So I think it's obviously CBS.
So then does that mean if you're not doing any interviews, you don't come back for the finale?
Well, I don't know if it's CBS or if it's him, but I think it's CBS because they clearly protect him a lot in the edit. They didn't show any of the negative things he said or did. So they're clearly protecting him more here, that they don't want him to say something else to the media. They want to, get rid of this situation entirely.
What? How do you think they would even explain that? Like, sorry, Riley's not here. I mean, like, how do you do that without? How do you do that?
I'm gonna guess he'll be there, but they'll just draw as little attention to him as possible.
Okay.
I mean, they just made him to be such a hero in the edit, and there was one time that they made him look like the good guy and Catherine the bad guy in a situation. So it just
that's
they tried to protect him as much as they could. So it's unfortunate.
I wonder why, because we're just still in that kind of world, I guess. But I wonder why. Was he like? Was he even polling well with anyone? What about the Facebook people? Did they like him? Did anybody? Does he have a fan base coming from one of the platforms that I just didn't?
I don't believe so. I think he's pretty universally not liked, which is very surprising. Usually Facebook would like this kind of person, but.
Right. I mean, no judgment on them. I was just wondering because I hadn't really checked in with their opinions, but I hadn't seen anything well on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. And therefore I was just wondering, I don't know why that would be a protected. I mean, what's the gain in they love blasting people. I don't understand. Like, why? That's, I guess, more. I'm not saying that I don't believe that. I'm more musing as to what's he got going on there? Why? For what?
That's what we're all wondering. So. Well, the thing is, I think the house guests are going to be very upset. They're 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 going to be very upset. But yeah, I do popularity polls every week, and the week before he was evicted, he had 14% people voted that they liked him. So that shows you my audience doesn't like him, at least.
14%. Whew. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy to not do. That was very intriguing to me when I found that out. I'm like, not doing interviews. Was all that other stuff real? Like the
lawsuit or suing
yeah,
them?
yeah.
I don't think so, because I think it's in your contract that you can't sue at all.
Right. I don't think we
So
can.
that was all fake. That all stemmed from Facebook. So you never believe anything you read on Big Brother
I'm
Facebook.
telling you. See, if that came from there, then not even a Facebook is riding for him. Why would CBS? That's so interesting.
I don't know, but let's move on from Riley. Let's move on from that. So who do you think is playing the best game at this point in the season?
I think this is really tricky because it almost changes week to week. I think that Will is actually in a really good position. And I think a lot of people feel like if they took Will to the final two, that they could beat Will. And I think that even if they could, that's still really awesome to make it to the final two. I think Will is in a really good position. And I love that because, like I said earlier in the season, he's like, just send me home if y'all are going to do this to me. And now he's just, he's kind of kicking it. I think that Lauren I don't think they really mess with her. She gets in her feels about working with her different allies, but nobody's really like, and Lauren has got to go. That doesn't come out of anybody's mouth. So she's in a pretty good position. As far as people not messing with them, in my house, we call Vinny the Weasel. I don't think he's in a good. I will be so very impressed if he makes it much further. Like, I think somebody is gonna pluck him out soon. I have a feeling.
What about Keanu? How would you have dealt with Keanu? Do you see any similarities with him and Fessy at all?
Yes, 100%. And I think I get Rachel working with Keanu and kind of looking at him like, well, didn't I just tell you, like, what are you doing? And but I think the challenge is going to swipe him up so fast because truly, like, what a good competitor to be. They've been gunning for him since week 1? Yeah. And every single time he either like pulls himself off in the blockbuster or the veto comp, and that's impressive. It's so stressful to be on the block and to do that well under pressure. I always find that impressive, even if I'm not like go you. But I do like Dungeons and Dragons people in general. Like, I know a lot of them that play that game. And so I was like, oh, he's probably going to be at the very least interesting,
What do you think of the BB Unlocked episodes? Have you been watching those on Fridays?
I have been watching some of them. I do like them. I've met both of the hosts, Taylor and Derek, in the IRL, if you will. And I love Taylor. I think she's a gem. She's really nice and fun and good people, good energy. So I like it. I think they're starting to have more fun with it, and that's good. And I think as they develop a comfort with each other and with what they're doing, it's going to continuously get more fun and even better. I like it.
And are we going to see you on Unlocked? Have you gotten a call yet to do that?
They have kept me locked thus far, but you never know.
You haven't met the celebrity status of like Boston Rob or Bobby Moynihan yet?
Yeah, not yet. But we always say not yet because until we're dead, we've got time to do whatever, at least try for it, right?
So who's your winner pick at this point in the season? Lock in your pick. Who's gonna win?
Ava.
Well, is that who you want to win or who you think is gonna win?
It's who I want to win. Who do I think is gonna win right now? I'm locking it in. I think it's gonna be a girl. I'm gonna go ahead and say Lauren. I'm gonna say Lauren is gonna win and shock us all with her young self. I think she'll at least make it to final 5. I like to give myself that grace and space, you know. She really for me is like my most surprising person that I'm like you know, rooting for. Like I think she's doing good and I think she's impressive and young but mature and not afraid and playing, you know, for what she can.
Was she one of your picks at the beginning of the season or no?
She was not. I'm also very like pleasantly surprised. I kind of thought, all right, here's a cute girl that's gonna get in a showmance and cool, we'll all have that. And when she was approached about a showmance, she said no to a really good looking guy because she wanted to play the game. And that got me in my mind. I was like, all right, girl, I like this. Like, play your game, you know, go far.
So is there anything else season 27 you want to talk about? I know you're active on the Twitter. So is there any other opinions you have about 27?
Gosh, I'm sure there are. What did I want to say? This comp that just happened.
Tonight?
Yes. It was very Princess Bride, and I loved it. And I want to know, do you think that they were like, do you think they did it? I want to ruin the TV magic, and I want to talk about it. Do you think that they like put Alka-Seltzer in their mouth after they said like, do you think that they drank and then the speaker came over and they're like, okay, the red one was the poison, and then they put like Alka-Seltzer in their mouth and they all spit it out? How do you think they did that?
It must have been that way because if you put it in a drink, would you have been able to see it? Just looking at them visually?
See it, right? Like, wouldn't I feel like if it was already in there, unless they all had something in their mouth that would react to whatever it was, but they were talking, but then maybe they said, okay, put the thing in your mouth. And now
you know better than me. You've been there before.
I know, but we never vomited on purpose. So, you know.
And what about the people laying on the ground all that time after they had died?
I love that they committed to this bit. Like, I think I loved the little lines that they were giving each other. You could tell they were having so much fun with this comp. And I think that being in there can be so stressful that those moments where you can really have fun and play are delightful. Like, I think that was really, and they all looked great. I think this Princess Bride-esque comp was probably my favorite.
And Ava was the first out. How long do you think she was just laying there on the ground? Was this a long competition, you think?
She was probably just like, this is like meditation. You know, you can really just lay there and not have to. Maybe some of them fell asleep. You know, they're not allowed to sleep.
Will probably
hours, 10 and 10. So they probably took a little nap time. That was great, though. That was good. That was my favorite comp thus far. I liked it a lot.
And I also saw that you got on the chat BCC recently, right?
I did. I like that a lot. I don't really know what I'm doing, but it's fun. I saw it like on Twitter, and then somebody was like, what is this? And I just was like, all right, let me do it. And it is fun. It's cool.
Are you in the alumni one or are you in the RHAP one?
I'm in the alumni one.
Okay, yeah, there's an RHP one as well. I wasn't sure which one you were in.
I didn't know that. Or maybe I'm in both. I think I'm in both, actually.
Yeah.
I think so. Yes.
So let's get into you and your season a little bit. So what is your casting story? How did you end up on Big Brother?
I have a crazy casting story. I used to manage nightclubs, and I had a life-changing event where I got pregnant on an IUD, and I had my son, and I had to leave my nightclub management job, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And I was sitting around with my mom, and I said, Mom, what should I do? I can't go back to like working, like managing clubs. And she said, well, Angela, I just think you should audition for Big Brother. And I was like, why? And she said, well, it's $500,000 cash. And I was like, bet, that's a house. Like, I'll definitely, send in a tape. And I have a really weird, even further origin story, which was when I was a junior in high school, we had a exchange student from Germany. And she said, oh, do you watch Big Brother? Do you watch Big Brother? And we were like, no, what is this? And then I went over to Germany in 2000, and I was watching it there, and it was like the night cameras, and they're like roaming around, and I'm like, what is happening? They're all speaking German. I have no idea. So then I get back home my senior year, 2001, and my parents are watching Big Brother. And at the time I was just like, my parents are, nobody wants to do what their parents are doing. So I was like, there's no way I'm watching this show. So it was just very funny that all of that happened in my younger life. And then my mom suggests I audition. So I recorded a 3-minute tape, filled out all the things online, sent it in, and they called me 2 weeks later.
So you only applied one time?
Yeah, just the once. And I did apply, like I wasn't recruited. It was a shot in the dark. I didn't know that they would call in 2 weeks, but they did. And it's been a really cool experience, especially over the years, and being like, there's like old school Big Brother, and then there's like middle brother, and then new Big Brother, I guess. And I guess I'm like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So it's interesting, it's like 7 years later, people still recognize me in my normal life, but not to the point where it's not, oh, I can't go to the grocery store without. No, it's not like that. But it is like, it's wild when people are like, are you, and it's fun. It's really very cool. So I'm grateful for all of that. Like, it's very neat, the whole thing.
So your mom is the one who told you to apply. So what had you seen of Big Brother before you applied? Had you watched a bunch of seasons, or you saw nothing?
I absolutely saw nothing. So then I'm in the audition process. Like, I'm about, at the time they used to fly you out for finals. I don't think they do that anymore, because since the, lockdown or whatever, I don't think they figured out you can do things very virtually. And I think they do that now. But in my day, they would fly you out for finals. So I'm getting ready to like fly out for finals or whatever. And I asked my casting director, I'm like, should I watch this? And he's like, oh yeah, you should watch it. So that you can learn the terminology and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, well, what do I watch? And he's like, season 16. So I start watching, and I call my mom immediately. And I'm like, exactly what about this lying, backstabbing show did you think I would be perfect for? And she was like, I just think you're a character. I think they'll love you. And I was like, okay, well, let's go for it. Because if I could have won $500,000, I could be living in my own house, with a yard and not in it would have been cool. So why not? And what you do with a chance is you take it. Especially one that you go after. Like, there's, at any point in time, you could always say, I changed my mind. I'm not going to do this. And then they do have alternates, and they'll just whatever I'm right on in. But if you have an opportunity like that, why? There's nothing worse that I can imagine than saying, what if to something? What if I would have done? You can't ever have a time machine, you know? So like, at least if you do it, you're like, oh, well, that's what happened when I did that. And that's, you know, and these are all the things that resulted from it. But I don't like that. What if? You can't fix that for yourself, you know?
So what is the origin of the name Rockstar? Was that something you had before Big Brother or before Big Brother because it was another Angela on the season?
So I started going by Rockstar probably when I was 19, but it wasn't just Rockstar. It was Angela Rockstar. I did not go by my last name because, well, truly because I did not know my biological father. And so I didn't want to keep really carrying on his last name. So when I was 19 and I was in like the nightclubs and the ball scene, they all called me Angela Rockstar. And then when I was managing nightclubs, that was actually on my business card. So when I went on Big Brother, they say to me, do you go by anything else? Like, do you go by Angie or whatever? I said, no, I Angela or Angela Rockstar. And that's how people say my name. It's like one of those names that you say both names with. And they're like, well, we're going to call you Angie. And I said, okay. But then that didn't really like, and then very early on in the Big Brother, they're like, Rockstar. We're calling we're calling a Rockstar now. I did know, or at least was able to assume that there was someone else named Angela on my cast because they were asking me so many questions about what else I went by, you know? It's funny to me when people are like, oh, she called herself Rockstar for the show. Or like, nah, I didn't even call myself that. I did after a time, but that's a name that I was given. And then I rolled with it, you know?
So in your day-to-day life, do your friends and family call you Angela or Rockstar or both, or?
They call me Angela. I mean, well, it depends. So like in my house, they call me Mom. My friends, if they're referring to me, will say like Ange or Angela, but if they're ever talking about me to somebody else, they say Angela Rockstar. Even like not if it has to do with like Big Brother, just is who's gonna be there tonight? Oh well, Angela Rockstar is gonna be there, blah 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 blah. It's just how they say it. So I guess it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, so looking back on your season, do you have any regrets about your gameplay or anything?
Of course I do. 100%. I regret giving Tyler the answer in OTEV, which was not intentional. It wasn't kind. It was just a non-belief in myself. I wasn't like out of the kindness of my heart giving him the answer. I regret that. I don't think you can regret it because now I can tell everyone to believe in themselves, even when the cards are stacked against you, even when everyone is saying you can't do it. Maybe you can. So believe in yourself.
Talking about OTEV, we saw last year it was only one round where everybody got it wrong, and this year was only 3 rounds. So people just can't get these OTEV questions right.
I was so offended by last year, and I was like, I definitely would have won at that point. Like I got so far in mine. And then there was another comp that I tied with Angela Rummins, and in my brain, I think the answer was like 3,800 or something, or I don't know, but in my brain I was saying like 37. It was only like a little bit off, but then I got caught up in my head because math is not my strong suit. visual things, English, language, very good, math. Meh. So once it was like in my mind a math problem, that just like got me caught up and I was overthinking. I overthought a lot. And so I think that if I could tell myself going in something from this perspective, I would say, don't take it that seriously and actually have more fun. Don't get don't beat yourself up. Don't get so upset, and really have fun, because I think the cool thing about being an alumni of Big Brother is that a lot of people are willing to give you a chance and see who you are. And I do feel like, having seen more of who I am in the real world and not under extreme duress, thinking that I could, buy a house and live the American dream off of this one, lottery opportunity, I think people then get to see who you really are. And that's cool, So it gives you this like platform. I do truly love people very much. And it's been interesting inside and outside and everything after to experience other house guests, the fans, the trolls, the other alumni, where, even learning myself, where maybe I took a joke that I thought was funny, that might have been funny, but a little too far. And maybe I shouldn't have made that joke online at a certain point in time about anybody that I ever did that about, because, but there's this fine line of humor and not, ill attempts at humor, I guess. So those are all learned things. And I didn't, despite doing theater, I did not have any media training. So you get off the show, you get online, and you just say whatever as like a normal person that just went on this crazy ass experience, and people will dog you out. The people that have been media trained, they have the right answers, and they don't have that kind of, you'll tell, you can easily tell as the people come out. But I wasn't. So, and that's okay. So I don't think that I have any regrets. I loved it. I would totally 100% do it again.
I think that's also part of why Riley didn't do the exit interviews. He probably wasn't media trained.
Yeah. I was actually really surprised with the composure he kept during the live interview. However, that is such a shocking, like, your adrenaline is rushing, like, plus it's,
and he had no idea he was going to leave. So,
right. He didn't know he was going to leave. He wouldn't have found out that people weren't fans of him until after that interview. So he could have been a jerk. Like, he was fairly humble in the interview, and he wouldn't have had any buffer to give him that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he came out, yeah, he had no idea, but he wasn't like, when she said, "Who do you blame?" He said, "I blame myself for the cut." Like, okay, that was a good answer, like, I don't know. He didn't see, I mean, for the adrenaline is rushing and you've got these, like, I guess, hyper feelings, but also like overwhelmed, overstimulated, to remain that, well, Julie, I could have won that comp and I didn't win that comp. And so I accept the fact that I'm on the block right now. And those are the best people in the world. And I would never speak a bad word about any one of them bad people or good people. They're all good people and I wish them the best. And, I can only blame myself. And And my God, thank God for the fans. You guys, I don't know how I could do it without your love and support. And it's like that was like so it was when you don't ever want to watch a train wreck, but they have that expression about watching one. Like I felt like, oh my goodness. And he had no idea what he was coming into. It kind of makes you understand how one might not do their exit interviews if they really did, quote unquote, debrief him like that. Which I wouldn't have an experience of. I was a jury member. They don't tell you shit. They can't, because you're still a member of I don't know what they debrief for people that don't make the jury. Like, I knew nothing and remained just as, clueless about knowing nothing.
Back in the day, they used to let the audience boo, but they don't let people boo anymore. So he would have gotten a loud boo, I imagine.
I'm sure he would have. And then he would have known. And then we would have seen what was what with that. But, God, it's going to be crazy. Whether or not this is accurate, how people are perceiving him. Like, what I'm saying is it's just so amazing that you could have no idea at all what anybody outside is thinking. And I'll tell you what this made me reflect on, which is not necessarily the same. But when I was in the house and we're like in the jury house, and we're talking about our lives after this and what it's going to do. And I'm thinking, well, obviously I'm going to be hit up by like EDC or Burning Man to be hosting, Coachella, or so obviously this is, I've made it on a national platform. I was already doing these things on a local platform. This is it for me. Come to find out, none of them people were watching Big Brother at the time. Like, so you can have these like grandiose thoughts or opinions. And hey, you know what? I think that the world is full of opportunities. So that's wonderful. And don't ever limit yourself really in thought or by yourself. Don't ever self-sabotage. But what I'm saying is you can totally perceive I came out to a lot of hate, actually, to be quite honest. People hated me when I got off of my season. People have short memory because everybody that is a fan now will tell you that they were a fan then. But if we really went back and looked for them, I'm sure like Tyler was the thing. And because I did not want Tyler to win, I was enemy number one when I got off of the show. How dare I have voted for Case? And so even time can transition that. I am not Riley, and I am not defending Riley or anything he said. I'm more just speaking about the societal, like, sociological effect of Big Brother, from the outside in and the inside out. It's just very, 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 very interesting. It is a social experiment that continues.
Let's get back into you. Let's get back into a better person than him. So the top question that people had asked me to ask you about was, tell us about Rockstar's daughter's birthday. What was that like in the moment? And did you think it would become this big meme that it is today?
No, I didn't even remember saying that. I was so mad. The thing that I wish that people understood, because the way it gets clipped, it's just me stuttering and yelling at some guy that's got his composure, right? But when you watch the episode, if you listen, there is maybe 2 minutes of dead air. And in those 2 minutes, I am cussing him out. I cannot believe. And every cuss word in the book, to where people's faces were like, oh my God, I've never even heard that one. What is that? Like, this is a new cuss word that just came out of nowhere. Well, while I'm doing that, Casey goes, Rockstar, we're still live. So you're not supposed to cuss on the live episodes because they're live, because they can't edit them. And so they tell you, you know, we're on a live episode. You'll see it when people are doing competitions. Even if they accidentally drop a cuss word, they're like, sorry, because we know we're not supposed to cuss on the live episodes. And I didn't know we were still live. I don't really know why Casey knew we were still live. I'm not really sure why anyone knew we were still live, but Casey said we're still live. And I said, oh, so then I just start stuttering because all I want to do is call this man an MFer. And now if you're wondering why all of this happened, it's because he was very mean to me and he bullied me and he would say horrible things about me and my parenting and say, let's only keep the attractive people in the house. Let's get rid of Rockstar. Like very uncool, unkind bully things were said to me, like walking up to every single person, like, oh, you look beautiful today. You look great today. And just not even acknowledge me. So whatever. We don't need people to really acknowledge us, right? F them. But here's what happened. I'm obviously not working with this person. This person won't even speak to me. When I walk into rooms, and I'm not lying, he and Winston would stand up and walk out of the room. So it wasn't me not trying to communicate or work with these people. This is just what it was. Come to the day before my daughter's birthday, who is turning 10. It's a live eviction episode. Her birthday is the 20th. This episode is on the 19th. This is the live eviction.
My birthday.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. So before the live evictions, they don't have the live feeds on. We are all getting ready in the bathroom. Before every live eviction episode, Big Brother will come over and remind you things. Just remember, no shout outs. Don't do, other random reminders. So every single time they say no shout outs, I'm thinking, God, do they have to repeat this shit every single time? Like, nobody's doing this, right? Because I'm thinking, I'm going to do what production says and I'm going to try to get them to like me. And I'm kind of like going to be an easy person to work with. So whatever. I never did a shout out. So we're standing there in the bathroom and I'm doing my hair and I turn to everybody and I say, guys, I know we're not supposed to do shout outs, but my first baby turns 10 tomorrow. So I'm going to say happy birthday, Aradia. I'm going to give her a shout out. And then the entire bathroom goes, oh, I've been giving shout outs. I give shout outs every time. I shout out my dog. And I was like, oh my God, my kids think I'm an asshole. Like they have to. I haven't said anything to any of them. And you can't see what other people are doing in the DR. So you're just thinking like, it's a reminder, like drink water before you go outside, kind of, whatever, repetitive. They do annoying stuff all the time and remind you of stuff that has, it's like very maddening. So I just thought it was one of those things. Well, I find out that they're all giving shout outs. So I'm already like hot to go that I think that that I've been like neglecting the shout out to my children. So I'm safe, by the way, and I have been on the block and bullied by this dude, and he's on the block. And then he gives this speech where he says that I cornered him and said, let's do an alliance. And he was going to flip the vote. And I couldn't believe that this person that wouldn't even acknowledge me as wouldn't speak to me at all was now lying on me like that. And I just lost it. I was PMSing. I was on slop. I had enough. And that is the story of on my daughter's birthday. Later on, when we were in the jury house, they wanted me to do the oddcast and they kept trying to get me to talk about kids' birthday parties. And I was like, this is such a weird, why would I talk about this? And I was literally so angry in that moment that I did not remember yelling about my daughter's birthday until I got out of the house and I was shown all the different things.
So speaking of Brett, what's the relationship like now, 7 years later, and what house guests do you keep in touch with?
I have no idea. I wish all of them well. I don't know. I think Brett has a lot of people on TikTok, and I think he has a lot of fans because every time I post something, at least, 5 of them say, Brett rocked. Brett's so cool. Brett rules, you drool. So, I mean, he's got to have something good going on. Good for him. And what house guests do I keep in touch with? I keep in touch with Casey, Bailey, definitely Scotty. I probably talk to him the most. Angela Rummans actually sent my vegetarian daughter a vegetarian vegan cookbook. Mainly just keep in touch with them on social media. But it is interesting. People are always like, are you friends with Brett? And it's like, we were never friends. He was actually very mean and rude to me and never apologized. So I don't know where that would where people are thinking that, and they're like, oh, do you hold a grudge? No, he was like, actually, like, do we have to, you can forgive. Sure. I hope that he's grown from being a jerk. 7 years ago. Like, you have to give people grace and space. I don't know how he is now,
Yeah, so we saw Brett on The Circle a few years ago. He's gotten other opportunities, but when are we going to see you on another show?
Who knows? I mean, I'm certainly open to it. You never know what the future holds.
No calls have come your way from anything?
No, not a one. And that's really actually, I was very, at first I thought that I would definitely, not the challenge. I didn't think they were calling me, but like one of these other shows, I thought like, yeah. And now I've just kind of settled into that might have been something cool that I did. And that's a dope thing to have done. I would love to be on another show, but the reality is that I feel like, I mean, I could still audition for things, but as far as people calling, I think they call who they want to call. And I think we see who they want to call because we keep seeing them called.
What about Big Brother 22? They didn't even call you at all for All Stars?
No.
I mean, there were first boots that were on the cast, so
I'm aware. I really, I was actually the one that I really got in my feels about, quite honestly, was Reindeer Games.
Okay.
Because that was like a fun, family, kid friendly. I'm a mom. Everybody was talking about all their Christmas with my kids. Yeah, me too. Like, I don't know. It was very, that one hurt my feelings a little bit, if we can have our feelings hurt. But also, like, there's 300 something of us. And I bet any one of us would love to be on a show again or more than, so it's just kind of like, I'm happy for anybody that happens for. I'm open for that happening for me, but I'm not gonna, I no longer am looking at the phone to see if they're calling. You know what I mean?
And what about The Amazing Race? They're going to do the Big Brother edition, The Amazing Race. You going to watch that?
I will watch it. They also did not call me for that. So it's like, I will watch it though. I like all those people that they did call. So it'll be great. I'm excited for them.
If they called you for that, who would you want your loved one to be?
So if it was a loved one, I probably would have taken my eldest kid. But if it was like, you could pick I would have done it with Jessica Milagros. I thought that would have been fun. I think she would be a great Amazing Race partner. If it was like another reality TV person, that's who I would probably do it with. But I would love to do something with my kids. It's very interesting. Any of them are.
So do you have any advice for future house guests based on your own experience?
Yeah, just have fun, live life. Don't take anything in general too personal. Really try and remain zen if possible. Really, if you're one of those preparedness people, really prepare on meditation and finding your center and having people like really like have your center rocked, and you maybe at home like do something very stressful while somebody's saying something really awful to you, and see, try to, those are the kind, it's a mental game. Sure, there's the physical competitions, obviously, in that aspect, but you can burn out very fast. You can lose it very quickly. And so the biggest thing to hold on to is your peace, especially when everything in the world is trying to interrupt it. So my biggest advice would be really practice meditation and maybe go meditate at like the bowling alley or something, something loud, like that's high stress, because it is so very, very stressful. And then if you go in, try your hardest, but don't take it that seriously, because the more stressed you are, the less you're showing the dynamic person that you are, that was cast, because that's who you are. If that makes sense.
And do you have any upcoming projects or events that you're excited to share with your fans? I know you're hosting a Baltimore finale watch party.
I am, and I'm so excited to do that. I don't think we've had a watch party in Baltimore. I'm a Baltimore girly. The Maryland fan base is big for Big Brother, so it's gonna be, and then not just Maryland, but we have like Pennsylvania right next to us, and Virginia and DC. They're all so close that I hope that people come out. It's gonna be great. I'm super excited because I'm infusing some of my own. We're going to watch Big Brother. All the sound will be on, but then I've got some DJ friends of mine that we've selected that are going to be rocking, and not just, I'm infusing all that Angela Rockstar is into a Big Brother watch party. So I'm very excited, and I love meeting the fans, and I think there's food and drinks, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
Do you have any alumni that are going to that?
I didn't even invite any. So,
is there any people in the area that any Baltimore Big Brother players?
There are a lot of people do go to LA. Like Cam from last season, he is going to LA. A lot of them go to LA. That's a lot for me. I work full time and have, 3 kids full time. So going to LA it's a lot to do that. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to share this experience, not in New York, not in LA, but in my own hometown with people that love this show, that live around. It's a small state with a big fan base. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for us all to watch it together and eat and drink and dance and have fun.
Yeah, so everyone should definitely go to that. But Rockstar, thank you so much for joining me. You gave me so much of your time. I know we've been planning this for a while, but it was a pleasure to catch up with you and get your insights in the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate you.